Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Friends, we have studied 3 of the nutriments that feed ignorance. They are, the first one, the 5 hindrances. Then we studied the 3 kinds of misconduct that are nutriments for the hindrances. And then non-restraint of the sense faculties that feed misconduct. So these are the 3 things that we have actually, with ignorance, 4 things we have studied. All these are, the nutriments that feed each other, and finally the one that is ignorance. Now today we'll be looking at the lack of mindfulness and lack of clear comprehension that feed misconduct. That is misconduct of the body, speech and mind. The misconduct is fed by lack of mindfulness and lack of clear comprehension. So, really speaking, all beings who are born here, you see, in the karma world, in the sensuous world, have been unmindful in their past existences. Now, the first kind are those reborn in a lower realm, like the animal or the Petha realm. The second is those who do meritorious deeds now, in the present life, whichever life it is, and are born again and again in the cycle of existence. Then the third are those reborn in the Brahma world. Even those are born because of unmindfulness. Otherwise, they would have attained liberation from here. By personalizing all their actions, thinking they are my or mine, they create karma, thus paving the way to another rebirth. They are bound by 10 fetters or samyojana. The first 5 fetters or samyojana bind one to this world. They are belief in a self, the first one, or a soul. That is called sakkaya ditti. Then doubt, vichikiccha, adherence to rites and rituals, silabbata paramasa, sensuous craving, kama raga, ill will, patiga. Those are the 5 that bind us to samsara, to this world. The second 5 of the samyojana bind one to the Brahma realm. That is, they are craving for fine material existence. Craving for fine material existence without a coarse body like ours. That is called Rupa Raga. Then the second one is craving for immaterial existence. Arupa Raga. Someone is playing with the Zoom. I have lost my picture. Let's see. Please mute your okay. So the second five Sangyojana of fetters bind one to the Brahma realm, I said. That is, they are craving for fine material existence. That's called Rupa Raga. Craving for immaterial existence. That is Arupa Raga. Then conceit, Mana. Restlessness, Uddacha. And ignorance, Avijja. Such births can happen, not only in the Brahma world, even in this world, any birth can happen when there is no arising of a Buddha. Not a Buddha Kala. Now like this, now it is a Buddha Kala where Buddha's Dhamma is available. So one can arise in another existence where there is no Buddha world at all, right? Or the Dhamma is also not available. Or one may not get a human form. Even if you don't get a human form, then also you won't get to know the Dhamma and practice it. The fetters become active due to heedlessness, causing future existence. By using the five aggregates with attachment and desire, one gets trapped in samsara. A moment's attachment with I-making and my-making is enough to continue for many lives, not only one life, but many, many lives. The causes of this attachment are the sense objects, such as form, sound, odor, taste, body impression, mind objects, and by clinging to them, rejecting them, or enjoying them, identifying with them, and becoming conscious of them, enter the cycle of rebirth. This is using the five aggregates in a wrong manner. The Buddha says that the worldling takes delight in work, talk, sleep, company, and does not guard the 6 doors of the sense faculties, and is immoderate in eating. When one continues to indulge in these defilements, one becomes afraid and shrinks away from others, shake and tremble, or become terrified of others. You see, that is while living in this world, people become like this when they are fond of these defilements. In daily life, we come across many random sense impressions, sights, sounds, etc., that continuously go through our minds. Once those sights, sounds, etc. have all finished, they have gone. But in our minds, we replay them. Most of them are not clear. In fact, they may be incomplete, and some are based on wrong perceptions that are untested. We don't know whether it is true or not, but become the basis of our judgment. So we become biased towards people, positively and negatively. The Buddha says one who desires one's own welfare should practice heedfulness, mindfulness, and guarding of the mind from becoming excited by lust or be provoked by hatred or be deluded or intoxicated by youth, health, birth, life, clan or caste, gains, honor, respect, wealth, beauty, learning, etc. These are the things that people get, intoxicated about, or they get deluded. You see, that is all through ignorance. Anyway, they don't think of it like ignorance. They think that they are higher, greater, clever, skillful, more intelligent than others. Now I'm going to tell you a story. There are many, many stories in the Dhamma that I could have taken, but I thought a modern story of, life in this world among us might be more interesting for you. So this is a story about, actually it's a true story about lack of mindfulness and clear comprehension, which led to non-self-restraint and misconduct. Kathy thought that Jim was interesting and being with him was fun. She met him on her way to work. After many meetings, they became more intimate. Jim had a wife and family. Though he loved his children and his wife, his life was humdrum after 12 years of marriage. And Kathy offered a more glamorous and exciting life. His attraction to Kathy was so great that ultimately he agreed to part from his family. So he got a divorce from his wife and married Kathy. Now remember, all these names are fictitious. The wife, named Sylvia, resented and hated Kathy so much that if she saw someone with blue eyes and curly dark hair, her body turned cold and tense, and she would be unable to move. She couldn't sleep at night, and her guilt and anger drained her life out of her. So she attended self-help classes, went for counseling, enrolled in seminars and workshops, read books, went for talked to people about life, walked miles and miles, but still she found no consolation. Then, after 4 years of misery, Sylvia attended a day-long seminar on the healing power of forgiveness. The leader invited the participants to close their eyes and think of someone in their lives they had not forgiven for whatever reason, real or imagined. Sylvia could only think of Kathy. She thought, how could she forgive someone like Kathy, who had not only hurt her, but also the innocent children, depriving them of their father? So, I mean, that is quite natural, isn't it, for Sylvia to think of Kathy in this way. Then Sylvia looked at her present life more honestly. Now, all this time she had never, looked at her own life to see what she was going through. She saw how she was ill-treating herself. The passion and love she had for her husband had soured to anger and revenge, and she was waiting for an opportunity to wreak vengeance. See, she was waiting to take vengeance from the husband that she had loved so much. And of course, Kathy. She saw how self-righteous, arrogant, and judgmental she had been. And it had taken away her health, liveliness, and happiness. In that moment of self-realization, you see, so that means she would have realized that no one could clap with one hand. So even if her husband had done wrong, she too might have added, I don't know the story, the rest of it, but you can just think that there might have been lapses on her part too. You know, no one is perfect in this world. So anyway, in that moment of realization, she was not only able to completely forgive Kathy, but also her faithless husband for the wrong done to her, and not to hold on to the anger she had harbored for 4 years. Her mind became alert, her heart lighter. Can you see the difference that our mind can make when we change from delusion to wisdom? That night, she was able to sleep well. She still had her children, their love and respect. This is an instance of how lack of mindfulness, clear comprehension can affect people to behave heartlessly and cruelly towards others. But becoming heedful and gaining clear comprehension, one could regain one's lost courage, self-respect, and release from suffering. So it's not the victim, it's not the people who wronged that we are worried about, but the one who was wronged, the victim. Now she is the one who was able to see the truth and come back to wisdom, right? So that is what we are thinking of. We know that the most applicable and useful sutta in the practice of sati or mindfulness is the Satipatthana Sutta. The practice of Satipatthana is to deeply look at your consciousness so that you can see your own mind, which we don't normally do. We only see our body, right? People quite often identify themselves with their minds through their thoughts, feelings, impulses, emotions, or sensations that come into the mind. The sutta, that is the Satipatthana Sutta, says, now I'm going to tell you a sentence in Pali. Some of you might have heard of these words. Atapi sampajano satima vineyya loke avijja domanasang. Now that means to be clearly comprehending, mindful, having subdued longing and grief for the world. Now, I must tell you one thing. Here, the word world does not mean the outside world. It means the world here. Buddha called this mind and body the world. So that is the world that we must see properly, clearly, honestly, with wisdom. How is this done? It is done by clear comprehension. Often one does not have mindfulness at the 6 doors or sense faculties. You know the sense doors? eye, ear, nose, tongue, etc. Those are called doors, because a door is meant for people to go in and out. That is what happens with these doors too. One thinks that they are there for the happiness of being. Usually people think like that. But this idea comes due to unmindful craving. We sustain our lives by getting attached to sensual objects every moment. Is there any moment when we are not attached to something? If we are not attached, actually, physically, our mind is attached. By thinking that the objects are actually existing, we get deceived. But the reality is that they too are made up of the 4 elements, like our bodies, and changing all the time. A form that meets the eye leaves an imprint in the mind, and according to your likes and dislikes, you desire it or you repulse it, right? So sometimes you want it again and again if you like it. This is craving. Even repulsing is craving, because you want to, it's also craving to get rid of it. Even if one obtains what one desires, one is not satisfied and go on searching for more and more exciting and enticing things. This is like running after a mirage. That's the reason for creating karma that results in re-becoming. If one could see this as only a thought, the danger and the mindlessness of taking it to the future could be stopped. Then the longing will be subdued. If one does not appreciate and realize mindfulness, one will never see how penetrative it is. It is often linked with clear comprehension. Clear comprehension is called sampajanya. Sampajanya. That means clear comprehension. Clear comprehension means a special understanding of all physical and mental phenomena without emotions or reactions like desire or aversion. For the purification of beings, it is necessary to tidy and regulate the mind, for taints or fetters defile it, and undesirable and ignoble thoughts come up in the mind. We think that when some bad thought comes, nobody knows about it. But we know about it, right? So that means that it is known, not unknown. They reduce our self-esteem by naming them. Now this is the way to get rid of them. By naming them. Thought, bad thought, like that. You name not the entire thing, but the bare fact. It's a thought, right? Or idea. Or it can be an emotion even. So, you name it, or as they arise, right? And slowing down activities, one would see them really as they are and become detached from them. By keeping silence, still, noble silence, Buddha called it. And through mindfulness, we could stop adding to our karma. Then we are protected from rash and hasty judgments and we'll stop interfering blindly in external matters. The Buddha says, one who abstains from interfering is everywhere secure. Quite often, we make wrong decisions regarding ourselves and others by paying attention to our former errors of judgment. Pausing, stopping, keeping still, we could improve our conduct and the moral quality of our mind. Sati, or mindfulness, is the awareness of the bodily, verbal, and mental actions at any given moment. This may happen without a proper understanding of the reality of what is happening. Sampajanna, or clear comprehension, gives it a sense of wisdom or insight. So you can see it's different from sati. There are 4 types of clear comprehension. The first one is clear comprehension of purpose. This means to be aware whether one's physical, verbal, and mental actions are skillful, useful, and beneficial to one's spiritual path. Not only spiritual path, even your life, your ordinary daily living, whether it is good enough for your life. In mundane living, too, one may impulsively do or say things in response to internal and external forces. But if one recognizes its lack of purpose and check or stop for a moment, you would not regret later. Then the second one is clear comprehension of suitability. Even if an action is purposeful and beneficial, one could think of its suitability to one at that time or situation, and also about the others who are involved. This needs skill to adapt and also tact in relation to others. Now, I'll give you a small example. Now, 2 friends meet at a restaurant for, a meal or something. Then one comes and says, I have had, food. I'm not hungry. But when the menu comes, she orders so many things that in the end, a big plate of, whatever food has been brought, and she gulps it down all. See? So now that is what? The lack of suitability. So then the third one is of domain. That is clear comprehension of domain. This means that one should be aware of one's object of meditation, even while engaged in other activities. Now, we are talking about a practitioner, right? Not just an ordinary worldling. That means now like Anapanasati, which is about breath meditation. When the first and second clear comprehensions are practiced, this will be easier. Now the fourth one is clear comprehension of reality or non-delusion. That is to understand with wisdom the reality of physical and mental phenomena as they occur. One will understand that every action is conditioned. That means there is a hetu and phala, a cause and a result. That is, it is due to a cause. Everything is due to a cause. Understand the reality of no self behind all our actions. That we are not doing it. It is due to that cause that it is being done. It's interesting to see that though sati sampajanya is used together, while clear comprehension cannot take place without mindfulness. Unless mindfulness is there, clear comprehension cannot be there. Mindfulness can take place without clear comprehension. Mindfulness is a skill of mental training and helps in insight meditation. Clear comprehension is an insight knowledge that comes from practicing mindfulness, meditation. So, clear comprehension is an application of practicing mindfulness in daily life activities to remove sorrow and lamentation. The Buddha says that unmindfulness and lack of clear comprehension leads to non-self-restraint and misconduct. Thank you. If you have any questions, please ask. You have no questions? I thought today you might have questions, no? Okay then, friends, it's time to do a little meditation. And today I thought we could do the breath meditation. We have not done it for a long time. So I hope all of you are familiar with the breath meditation and you would like to do it, would you? Yeah, so we'll do that, right? Now, first of all, take a few deep breaths and sit straight, properly, with your head on your shoulders, on your neck, and with the back straight, the spine straight, and comfortably relaxed, of course, right? Ready? Now, bring your attention to your nose, because even if you are used to the rise and fall of the abdomen, after all, the breath goes in through the nose. So, you can keep your attention at the nose or at the abdomen. The abdomen is the last place of the air. The air goes in through the breath, through the nose, then it goes down to the abdomen and comes back through the nose. You know, that's the pathway of the air that goes in. Just see, take a few deep breaths and see. Now, breathing is something that happens all the time. We are not doing it. It's also a cause and an effect. If it stops, we stop too. See the length of the breath. Is it a long one or a short one? Be aware of the breath. What kind of breath is it? Is it a long breath or a short breath? Usually, at first, it could be long, both in and out. Do you feel it at the nostrils? After some time, it becomes shorter. When the breath becomes calm or a little calmer or more settled, it becomes shorter. Depending on the atmosphere, it could be cool, warm, or cold. See what kind of air goes in and out. Is there a difference between the air that goes in and the air that comes out? See with your mind's eye. Try to focus the mind on the breath because it might stray away. Now, is it different from the start of the breathing? Is there any difference? See, these are things that you can be aware of. What happens to the breath once it goes into the body? How far does it travel? Now, when the breath comes inside, what happens to the chest? Does it expand or contract? When the breath goes in, you will feel the chest rising or expanding because the lungs take in the breath. Now imagine the lungs taking in the breath. But of course, it doesn't keep it. It throws it out. From there, it goes down to the belly, then comes up again and goes out through the nose again. Now, very carefully, look at the place where the air comes first and touches your nose. Very carefully, if you can find the place, see, that is the first place of touch. Then it goes to the middle. Then it goes to the end, that is the belly. And then it comes up again and goes out. Look at the pathway of the air. You can see it by the rising and falling. So friends, isn't it interesting to look at the breath? It's not a boring thing, is it? There are many more things to see in the breath, but we couldn't see all that today. Maybe next day we'll see the other things that the breath can, give us. Many, many more things to be happy about, right? So friends, I think if you have any more questions, please ask. No questions? Not even about the story?
බික්කුණීන් වහන්සේ ඇහෙනවද?
No.
Uh, can you tell that 4 steps of clear comprehension?
Yes. You find it in Avijja Sutta also. I, of course, abridged it to make it easier for us to understand here. The first one is called the clear comprehension of purpose.
Okay.
Of purpose. That means, that means whether your actions, whether physical or verbal or mind, mental, whatever the actions, whether they are skillful, useful, and beneficial, especially to the path. If we are all practitioners, but even otherwise, even if we are not practitioners, even in daily life, whether these, what we are, looking at, whether it is of use, of any use, whether it is beneficial, whether it is good for us. You see? So that is the first one, of purpose. Then the second one is where clear comprehension of suitability. That means whether even if it is good and beneficial and all that, whether it is suitable for that occasion. Now say you are going for a, now this is a very, very coarse kind of example. You are going to a wedding. Supposing you choose a black, sari or whatever, and, accessories and all that. And you find that all the others are very glamorously dressed and you're in black. So you when you go there, you find that you are sort of a misfit like. So that is because there was no comprehension of suitability. Even the dress can be of, of a suitable nature, suitable for that occasion, suitable for that purpose, suitable for that. Now, when we say something, am I going to say something that is suitable for this occasion, for this, at this juncture, at this time? Is it good to say this? That is the kind of thing, right? That is of suitability. Then the third one is of domain. Now, this domain is something that you find in the Satipatthana Sutta. Very nice, examples are given. One is that a little bird came out from its, whatever place where it was living in a field, came out of it, right? And the mother was not there. I mean, the big bird was not there. It came out. Immediately, an eagle or, some big bird pounced on it and took it away. But while it was being taken, now this is an example, right? Not something that really happened or something. This is the Buddha's example to show you domain. This little bird was saying, oh, if only I had stayed in my own domain, this would not have happened to me, right? So then the big bird asked, what is your domain? What are you talking about? Then the little bird said, my domain is that field. My this, there was a hole in the field where they had made a nest. So the big bird said, okay, I will put you back there. Now you wait and see whether I'm not going to get you again. So the bird was put back and the little bird went inside, and before it could go inside, the big bird pounced on the little one, but actually it came and dashed against that, the bund-like thing that is made in the field, and it broke its neck. So the little bird was able to, be safe. Yeah. So that is one of Buddha's examples. But anyway, domain, when we think of it, is actually what is our domain. If we are practitioners, our domain is our object of meditation. Now, supposing it is anapanasati, it is something that we could always, whatever we are doing, we could always, look at the breath. Say, there may be times when we are immersed in something, and then, but we can always go back to the breath, right? So, like that, that looking at your practice all the time, that is the way to liberation. You see, so anyway, that is what it means by domain. To understand with wisdom the reality of all mental and physical, phenomena, what we come across, to understand with wisdom. Otherwise, we take everything to be true. You see, in the Arya Pariyesana Sutta, the Buddha says, before he became the Buddha, how he also, like all of us, was interested only in only afterwards that he came to know about it. The body, our body, is something that is all the time changing, all the time going from birth to death, all the time aging, all the time falling sick and all that, right? But at the same time, what are we looking for? What are we collecting? What are we fond of? The same kind of thing. So the Buddha, before he said, before he became the Buddha, he thought about it. Why am I getting interested in things that are decaying, that are, going towards death, that are falling ill, that are all the time aging? When I am also, same things happening to me, why am I only interested in these things, right? So like that, we must understand without delusion, that is with wisdom, the reality of physical and mental phenomena as they occur, means as they come into our vision, right?
Yeah.
So that is the third one. And the fourth one is, I'm sorry, I talked about the fourth one. That is the fourth one.
Yeah.
Okay. So the first one is about purpose. Second is for suitability. Third is domain. Fourth is of non-delusion. Reality or non-delusion? That was a good question anyway.
Yeah.
So are there any other questions? Nobody seems to say anything. Okay. Then let us meet in 2 weeks' time. It's so nice to see all of you.
Tiruvan Saranai, Bhikkhuneema.
Tiruvan Saranai to all of you. May all of you be well, happy and peaceful.